Assalamu alaikum to that. Inshallah, we're going to go ahead and get started today. I'm not going to do an overly formal introduction because I think we've heard of Imam Magid before. If you've not met him before, he's been my imam and teacher for 17 years now. That's right?
Yeah.
16 years? So if you're ever in my halqa and I ever say my imam, then I'm talking about Imam Magid because that's the kind of he especially has with me. He's with the Imam at Adam Center. He was president with Islamic Society of North America for many years. He's also chairman of the International Interfaith Peace Corps, and I think the bio went out, and you guys probably could get more of the one but I will do it. Go ahead and listen to what he said. Okay?
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الرحمة المهداة والنعمة المستعان عليه أما بعد. I'd like to thank Sister Patricia and MSA for inviting me. I think we're very lucky to have a good chaplain, alhamdulillah, in the university. I say that because she's my student. I'm happy that teaching the university with my daughter goes. So, okay. Before I get to have a treat, to come and talk to you and see my daughter at the same time. This month is a month in the Islamic calendar called Rajab. No one knows what Rajab is? What is the significance of Rajab? Before I go to my topic. What is events that took place in Rajab make Rajab a unique month?
Isra wal-Mi'raj.
Isra wal-Mi'raj. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Rajab is a month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam a special treat, unique for many other prophets. But is a month that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have experienced also difficulty and hardship. Extremely difficult time. He and his companions in Mecca, they were facing a very difficult situation where the Mecca completely turned against him, started torturing some of his companions, and they started physically hurting him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Prophet Muhammad made an attempt to find support somewhere else. Therefore, he went to a city nearby called Taif. In Taif, which is a very beautiful, by the way, city to begin with, it's a little bit elevated, and therefore the weather is nicer. But it's very difficult, even go to Mecca walking into uphill. For physically, he has to face hardship, even leaving Mecca going to Taif. And when he went to Taif, he has Zayd with him, radiallahu anhu. And he met some of the elite of the city at the border of the city. And he expressed to them his intention that he wanted to share with them his message as a prophet of Allah Almighty. And therefore they told him that those people there, the guy named Abd Ba'layl, one of them, they told him, listen, if you're really a prophet, we're really scared of you. We don't like to listen to you. If you're not a prophet, we're going to kick you anywhere out of the city. We are not interested to listen to you. Then the Prophet Muhammad said, just allow me to go inside and talk to people. He said, no, we're not going to do that. For they sent people, the mob, they went after him and they started stoning him and chasing him out of the city of Taif for about a mile. They just going after him. until his feet start bleeding, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the only time they stopped when he went inside a garden, and went inside behind the fence, and they stopped. At that time, he was so physically exhausted, emotionally was really hurt, and therefore he sat under a tree and he made a beautiful supplication to God Almighty, where he said to Allah, "O God, to whom you have left me? To those people of Taif that are really chasing me, or people of Mecca who torture me and my companions, whom I should turn to except you?" And then he says to Allah, "I declare my weaknesses. I'm very weak, I'm vulnerable. And the loss of strength, physical strength. اللهم إليك أشكو ضعف قوتي وقلة حيلتي وهواني على الناس." This is an Arabic hadith. The hadith in Arabic. But he said, and people do not really give me the respect I deserve as a prophet. وهواني على الناس. Then he said to God Almighty, "But I seek refuge by the light of your face that have led the whole universe from any anger that of you to come upon me. I don't care if people are angry, but I care if you are angry." And then he said to God Almighty, "I seek strength from you. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There's no strength, no power except that come from you. And if you are not angry with me, I will continue to do this mission." He said that, and then the other incident took place. A man from Iraq originally came to serve him. His name is Addas, and from the city of a prophet named Yunus. You know what Yunus is in English? Do you? Jonah. And Allah sent that man to serve him for a reason. Because Yunus, alayhi salam, peace be upon him, he was so devastated by his people as well, he decided to quit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept the resignation of prophets. If you're a prophet for time, for lifetime. You don't resign. But Yunus alayhi salam he wanted to put his resignation, and he said, "That's it. No good coming from you guys. You're doomed. I tried." Through his hands. And he went, and Allah, as you know the story, asked him to be helped in the whale and brought him back to his own people, and all of them accepted Islam. Hundreds, thousands or more all accepted Islam. The story here is about don't feel in despair. No matter how situation you think is now, or the feeling of anxiety and tensions and so forth. No matter how much we think that the doors are closed and the society is not welcoming enough, don't ever feel in despair, because Allah is in charge. Last time I checked, no matter what political situation or anything changed, you get up in the morning, Allah is still the God. Nothing have changed. The sun still rises from the east and sets in the west. Before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he felt that strong emotion and feeling of rejections and lack of acceptance in society around him. Before he turned to Allah in this intense supplications, seeking refuge in the mercy of God, that infinite mercy of Allah Almighty. As a result of that, in Rajab, in the same month, Allah Almighty invited the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the night journey. That's how the night journey happened. Was Allah Almighty telling the Prophet, peace be upon him, if people of earth reject you, people of heaven accepting you and celebrating you, which is the angels. Doesn't matter how small minority you may be. You have to think about yourself as in the universal map. And the universal map, you're always a majority, even if you look by yourself in an island. Because Quran says, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. The whole universe celebrate and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every space in heaven, that much, size of the hand, the Prophet showed us, peace be upon him, there's an angel, either standing or sitting or prostrating, praising God Almighty. For I would like you always to think about events in twofold. There's something called Alam al-Ghayb, the world of the unseen. And there's something called Alam al-Shahada, the present world, the physical world, the seen world. And a Muslim is a person who connects the physical world, Alam al-Shahada, always to Alam al-Ghayb, to the world of the unseen. And because of the materialistic approach to life, people become less aware of the reality of the unseen world. And those who become aware of that reality of the unseen world, they have a new perspective of life. You don't see the life the same when you get up in the morning. You do not see it the same. Because it gives you what I call it the insight of the new reality that make you interpret life in the new light. You know the word for this in Arabic? It's a word called basira. Basira, the inner side, the inside that you may have in the world. Because there's something called basar, which is the sight, and basira, the inner side. If you come to connect with the unseen world, to believe in the unseen, with the alam al-ghayb, the alam al-shahada, the seen world, it becomes different to you. You don't see it the same. And I'll give you the example of the prophetic life, or the prophetic examples of Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ had not seen Alam al-Shahada, the seen world, the physical world, without connecting to the unseen world. For example, when was the last time it was raining here? Those who know me, I don't give lectures. I try to engage people because lecture is very boring. Very boring, like seeing someone one way street talking. That's not how I do things. Huh? When was that?
2 days ago. 2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
2 days ago?
Yeah.
What did you do when it was raining, Mr. President?
I should have made dua, I did not. I don't know. I wasn't outside, I was outdoors. I just continued doing what I was doing.
Anyone? Did you do something special when it's raining? How many of you get annoyed when it rains? Honestly. Honestly, when it rains, how many of you get annoyed sometimes? Okay? You like it more shiny, am I correct?
I lost my umbrella, so.
That because all of us have that moment sometimes of blanking out spiritually and get annoyed by the rain. But the Prophet ﷺ did not get annoyed by the rain. He has interpretation of the physical presence of the rain. Two of them. One, he always made a supplication, "Oh God Almighty, make this rain, this water, a water of mercy, no destructions, no flooding, and make it go to the place where they need it the most." Number one. He connected the rain to the infinite power of God Almighty, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second one, he connected them to the mercy of Allah by, he goes to the rain and he take off his shirt and have the rain to come to his shoulder. And they asked him, "Oh Rasulullah, why expose your skin to the rain?" He said, "Hiya qaribatul ahdi billah." He said, the rain just comes fresh from Allah, therefore I want to have that connection. That means he looked to the physical presence of the water to connect with him to the unseen, the infinite, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third way he connected with the rain is that he makes supplication and dua. He said when it rains, the door of mercy of God Almighty is wide open. That's the time he makes supplication. Because you read in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referred to the rain as rahmah. فَانظُرُوا إِلَىٰ أَثَارِ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. He said, look to the result of the rahmah of Allah. Imagine if it did not rain, it didn't rain in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania for a whole year. What would happen, you think? A whole year, a drop of rain. What do you think would happen? No clue?
It'd be a drought.
A state of emergency. They will declare the state of emergency in Pennsylvania, for sure. I have no doubt about that. It happened in Maryland, it happened in California. When it's not raining, state of emergency. $1,000 if you wash your car. $1,000. And the neighbors are telling each other. If you even water your lawn, $1,000. In California, they regulated how many times you can flush your toilet. You take it for granted every day. Because you don't connect alam al-ghayb to alam al-shahada. Who brings the rains? Allah Almighty, He says. He's the one who brings the rain. No one does. There's no department in America called Department of Bringing Down the Rain. It's not in the cabinet. The president has no order. He cannot give an executive order for the rain to come down if it doesn't come down. He doesn't. There's no way to do that. Therefore, it's beyond human power. But we take it for granted. Therefore, the rain is a spiritual experience. Every time it rains, you are really in the middle of an intense spiritual experience. It just passed before our eyes. We don't see it. Therefore, I say all of that to make the introduction to the Isra al-Mi'raj. I did not come to my topic yet. Therefore, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ here, in this border of a town, Taif, being stoned, being dragged, and so forth, children, adults, and so forth, stoning him, making fun of him. And he's the best man walked on earth. His feet were bleeding. They were bleeding to the extent that his shoes become full of blood. And he made this intense supplication for Allah Almighty. Then Allah Almighty says, I'm going to honor you. You took that hit for my sake and for the sake of the student of University of Pennsylvania to become Muslim, strong Muslims. You took that for Muslims around the world to be who they are now. I'm going to honor you. And the honor is not a big party on earth. The celebration took place in heaven. Amazing celebration. You know, what do you call it when people come back to university? Homecoming. The Prophet has a homecoming, but the homecoming in heaven. Coming back with Allah, being with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That way he belonged, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, every night, every day. You know, for sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah took him from his bed and took him to Jerusalem, and from Jerusalem took him all the way to heaven. If you're a scientist sitting in this room, you might say to me, Imam Magid, let us speak real science here. What are you talking about? Mecca, Jerusalem, heaven, same night? Explain it to me. I'm a University Pennsylvania student. I will say to you, Allah Almighty, God Almighty, no physical laws applied on him. If you believe in that Isa alayhi salam was born without biological father, if you're a medical student, just all your biology, physiology went the window. Don't apply that on Allah. A woman get pregnant without any physical relationship with any man. Yeah. He suspended the physical law. Allah suspends physical laws whenever He wants, but never suspended social laws. There are physical laws and social laws. Physical laws, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them and Allah suspended them. It happened here. in America. A colleague of mine, Sheikh Abdul Rafi, and we went to the hospital, Loudon Hospital, because one of our member of our community was told that you need to take the machine of your mother. She's an old woman. She's not brain dead, but they said her organs might start failing and so forth, but die in peace. We go there and said, since she's not brain dead, we are not feeling comfortable taking the machine off. The doctor said, listen, I'm going to tell you something. She's not going to make it. You just extending her suffering. I said, unless she's brain dead, we don't do this kind of thing. We're going to pray with her son and we're going to leave. We prayed and we left. 1 week later, his mother off the machine. His mother stood up. His mother walked out of the hospital. His mother is still alive. You knock his door, the mother will open his house, the door of his home to you. How she walked out. Can you tell me? Allah Almighty can do whatever He wants. It happens all the time. You can just Google it. Miracles. People talk about it all the times, where people decided something based on the physical knowledge, and Allah Almighty made intervention. For the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not a dream. But some people said, just let's make it easy. Imam, just make it easy on us. Say he was dreaming. If it was a dream, then what's unique about it? All of us dream. If you dream and wake up in the morning and say, I dreamt this, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll say, yeah, okay. Good for you. But to say to people that physically I went, that's where the challenge is. That's why people start doubting. فالله سبحانه وتعالى mentioned in the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا. Allah says, all glory be to Allah, the one who have taken His servant, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, at night from Mecca to Jerusalem, to the holy mosque of Favorite Mosque, Al-Aqsa, where we bless that land. Allah said, we have blessed the land. Barakna hawla. So we show him from our sign. In Surah Al-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, النجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى علمه شديد القوى ذو مرة فاستوى وهو بالأفق الأعلى ثم دنا فتدلى فكان قاب قوسين أو أدنى. Allah talks, swear by the falling of the stars, and then He says that He have taken the Prophet ﷺ to the nearest place. عند سدرة المنتهى عندها جنة المأوى إذ يغشى السدرة ما يغشى ما زاغ البصر وما طغى لقد رأى من آياته الكبرى آيات ربه الكبرى. Allah have taken him to heaven and this place called Sidrat al-Muntaha, where all things ends in the physical world, that no one experienced beyond that except a person whom Allah gave him the permission, was the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. What do we learn from this? I have a few lessons to share with you. Number one, I wrote them down so I don't forget them, so I don't talk too long. The connection between time and space. Time and space. Where are we? Where are we? You had dinner, I don't know what happened, no caffeine, University of Pennsylvania, are you awake?
Philadelphia.
Where are we?
Philadelphia.
Here, this is what the city. What this room? Where are we?
270.
Huh?
Huntsman Hall. Yeah.
Warden?
Huntsman Hall.
Okay. It's very important to know where you are. I'm going to, not to be too philosophical. If you don't know where you are, you don't locate yourself. You have to know your location all the time. Life is about how to locate yourself. If I ask you, where are you? Where are you? This where are you implies a lot, is very heavy question. Because you might speak about the physical space. I'm here. But are you here? You could be physically here, but mind-wise somewhere else. Am I correct? That's why people say, are you with me? Where are you? You're not listening? Where your mind went. How the mind goes and the body's still here. Being present in the space is one of the most important aspects of the spiritual experience you can have in life. Feeling presence. But the Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca, and Allah took him to Jerusalem. Allah mentioned those 2 points because the Prophet ﷺ, he knew exactly where he was. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted him to be in another place, to experience that place. This is not just a vacation, a flight you took from one place to another place. That was a spiritual journey of relocating. Relocating without changing your spiritual state. It meant to enhance your spiritual state. For if you are in this building, and in a few minutes you're going to be in another building, check in your spiritual state as you physically move. Because sometimes physical relocating can be judgmental in your spiritual state. You understand what I'm talking about, young lady there? You got it?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes you are in a social gathering or in a space that you know is spiritually bringing you down. You need to do something. If you're at night, you have to do Isra, moving from one place to another place. Because Isra, as-safaru laylan, is to move at night from one place to another place. But sometimes your night may be full of light, that you move from one space to another space, regardless of the darkness of the time, you are in the full of light space. What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example of this. Have you ever tried, no, don't have to raise your hand. This is a general question, just think about it. Have you ever prayed tahajjud at night? If you pray tahajjud at night even once in your life, you are, the space where you are in the dorm, whether you're in a room in your house, or in your basement, whatever it may be, that's a physical location. But that physical location have determined another spiritual location. You are at the spotlight. You know, on the stage sometimes one person standing and the light on them, that's called a spotlight, am I correct? When a person on earth here and praying at night, tahajjud at night, there's a spotlight on them. Absolutely, the star of the night. You become one of the stars that witnessing you praying, and therefore you have done ascension, which is Mi'raj. In order for you to ascend, you have to be aware of your physical location on earth. Ascension does not take place in the wrong place. You getting what I'm saying? Am I complicating this? And therefore, you can be spiritually down when you're in the wrong location, and can be spiritually connected when you're in the right location. It's about relocate yourself in this university. If people getting drunk and you're in the middle of that drunkenness, exit. It's not at the time where people around you, they're losing their space. Don't lose your space. Relocate. Reclaim your space. Your spiritual space. Your serenity. Now, therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him from the Mecca to Al-Aqsa. And those are the two beautiful spiritual space. And from Al-Aqsa, he took him to where? To heaven. But something very interesting happened there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before he took him to heaven, connected him what? What did he connect him to? You know? How many of you know this story? What did happen in Jerusalem? What did he experience before he went to heaven? You know?
He led Salah.
Huh?
Salah.
He led Salah by whom? Led whom in Salah?
The Anbiya.
The other prophets. Because remember, he just was a stone in Taif. Then Allah gave him the human elite. He said, okay, I'm going to give you the best of human, and you'll be their Imam. That shows also the unity of all prophets. He brought all humanity together to him. He said, do not feel in despair. That's not what humanity look like. This is what humanity look like. You have to look to the humanity in their best, not always in the lowest. Because if you look to the human always in the lowest, you lose trust in human race. You say this human project is a failing project. There's no goodness in human being. Therefore, in the time that you see the worst of people, look also in the best of people, so that you become uplifted again. It's uplifting when you do that. Look to the model and examples. In the dark hours, look for the stars. And when it gets darker, the stars become brighter. Therefore, your model and example become more shiny. You're going to look up to them more. Now, this unity of the Prophet Muhammad with other prophets indicates that there's a base foundation of human relationship based on this vertical relationship. Because, you know, when Allah brought him with the Prophet Muhammad, when Allah knows how he brought them, you have to think about human being in two dimensions. One is human being that you see, and then the human being, the heritage. You have to look at history. One of the most strongest, I think, enlightening ideas that human experience is knowing history, documenting what happened to people before us. And matter of fact, the Prophet, Imam Ali, radiallahu anhu, karamallahu wajhu alayhi salam, you can see all of that, by the way. All al-Bayt, Bukhari said alayhi salam. Imam Ali, radiallahu anhu, karamallahu wajhu alayhi salam, said the following. He said, من وعى التاريخ في صدره أضاف أعمارا إلى عمره. He said, whoever understood history very well, that person have expanded his life to many folds. Amazing. Just expanded your life. Why are you saying that, Ya Imam? He said, because you get to live your experience and the experience of others. It comes together in you now. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made 1/3 of the Holy Quran in the life of prophets, other than the Prophet Muhammad, to tell the Prophet Muhammad that ما كنت بدعة من الرسل. I'm not a new phenomena. ما يقال لك إلا ما قيل للرسل من قبلك. Nothing be said to you except that what been said to the Prophet before you. There's not a new thing. This hardship. لكل نبي جعلنا عدوا شياطين. Every prophet has an enemy, he said. Allah said to him. We tell you this story نثبت به فؤادك, so that affirm your heart, make your heart be strong. Understand that you're not alone in this experience. Now, therefore, this Rajab, because it's about energizing yourself from Rajab, I'm talking to you about what Rajab means to me. There's all of these events. Now, as you walk out of this room and you face the world, and you see people around you, you have to think about that commonality that brought all those prophets together from different parts of the globe. But they come with the same mission of trying to save humanity, bringing the best teaching, the divine teaching of God Almighty, where you have this human life be connected to the higher objective or purpose of life, which is worship God Almighty, and to embody the virtues of compassion, of mercy, of caring about others and so forth. That's the message of all the prophets. Therefore, that meeting of him, of his prophet, or other prophets, meant to connect the human relationship in the horizontal level with a vertical relationship which was God Almighty. Because relationships are two-dimensional, vertical and horizontal. In horizontal level, that if you just deal with people without having the vertical relationship in mind, you will never forgive anyone. You will never overlook, people's shortcomings and mistakes. You sleep every night with a heavy heart. But when you connect yourself to the infinite, to God Almighty, then your perspective of life, your view of life, the outlook of life changes. But I want to think always about vertical and horizontal relationship. Now, from there, the Prophet was taken, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to al-Isra, which is the ascension to heaven. Now, and there he was given something so beautiful. What was the gift was given to? Salah. Salah is about physical location and the spiritual location. Salah is about ascension. When you pray, actually we do have experience in a smaller mi'raj, ascension. Why? Because when we say Allahu Akbar, we should penetrate all heavens. You know what I mean by this? No. Okay. How do you come to know the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you cannot imagine this power of Allah Almighty? Because you say Allahu Akbar means Allah is the greatest. Greatness in this world being defined through what? Great America, make America great again, whatever. And great individual, great this, great that. What greatness being defined with?
Material success.
Material success. What else?
Power.
Power. Yes.
Oh, prestige.
Prestige. What else? Yes.
Influence.
What?
Influence.
Influence. Just in human level. That's what it is. Knowledge, degrees, also. But when you take this in human level and then throw it to the infinite level, infinite knowledge, how many degrees will come to the infinite knowledge? All the universities of the world, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. University of Pennsylvania and Harvard and Yale and all of the Ivy League and all of the universities of the world, nothing compared to the knowledge of Allah. You've just given a little bit knowledge, like a drop from an ocean. Now, all of these institutions, it is good to have them. Great how humans seek knowledge, but they have to understand the limitation of them. Power. How much power you may have. Allah says in the Quran, وَأَمَّا عَادٌ فَاسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَقَالُوا مَنْ أَشَدُّ مِنَّا قُوَّةً أَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُمْ وَأَشَدُّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً. He said, Ad, they become very arrogant on the earth and says, who have more power than us? And Allah said, they forgot. Don't they remember that Allah, the one who created them, has more power than them? Then you have the prestige that this person is, famous, this person have the clout, and so forth. How about the person who penetrated not the clouds, but penetrated all the stars? The Prophet ﷺ went to the highest place, in Isra wal Mi'raj. When we pray, our soul ascends have an ascension experience. And that has to be put in perspective. What I mean by this. Next time you pray, say, Allahu Akbar. I want you to imagine the following, and by the way, it's good to imagine in prayer in a way that I'm going to explain to you. Those who know me, I mentioned this so many times. But let me give you just a little bit basic physics. How many stars are there in the Milky Way? You have internet here? Google it. So I want you to interact because I don't like to speak one way. Google it. How many stars in Milky Way? And different madahib, school of thought. Yes?
100 billion.
100 what?
Billion.
100 billion. Gosh. Okay, now Google the second one. How many galaxies are there in the universe?
100 billion.
100 billion galaxies?
Galaxies.
And 100 billion stars in Milky Way. What are we talking about? If you want to locate this university in the universal map, with a beautiful campus of it, how are you going to locate it? 100 billion stars. Come on. Think about it. Humility. Next time we say Allahu Akbar, you have to mean it. Seriously. We are really, how much of this earth? 25% of the earth is what? Is land. 75 is water. When you pray, when you say Allahu Akbar, you have to have this ascension of seeking, zoom out of the universe and try to locate yourself. Zoom out. Then you get, we call it reorientation. Reorient yourself. And that's what humility comes from. Reorient yourself every day. Now, but there's something beautiful, not only about being in awe in prayer, but also put things in perspective. You're worried about people in power? Think about the powerless of God. You're worried about your money and think about Allah is a Rajab, the one who bestowed the provision, the one who really gives. If you're worried about what people look at you and how they respect you or not respect you, think about Allah respecting you, and loving you. There's a lady named Rabi'a al-Adawiyya. Have you heard of her? If you heard of Rabi'a, raise your hand. 1, 2. You never heard of Rabi'a? I know you have a friend named Rabi'a. That's not the one I'm talking about. Rabi'a al-Adawiyya. They call her al-Adawiyya because she used to help with the boat. Actually, getting passengers from one back of the river to another back of the river, from Adawiyya. She was in Iraq. Rabi'a al-Adawiyya, she's a teacher of scholars like Sufyan al-Thawri. She's a very serious scholar herself. Rabi'a al-Adawiyya said to Allah, I'm going to say it in Arabic, and I'm going to say it in English. Said to Allah, Ilahi, ليتك تحلو والحياة مريرة وليتك ترضى والأنام غضاب وليت الذي بيني وبينك عامر وبيني وبين العالمين خراب إذا صح منك الود فالكل هين وكل الذي فوق التراب تراب. She said to Allah, Oh Allah, ليتك تحلو. I wish that my relationship with you is a sweet relationship. And I don't care if it's sour between me and others, but I want it to be sweet with you. You know what she's saying? Because she knows if it's sweet between him and her, he will make it sweet with her and others. The infinity sweet have to spill over. Like, وَالْحَيَاةُ مَرِيرٌ. She said, I wish my relationship would be sweet and my life is sour. حياة مريرة. That's how much she seek his pleasure. وليت الذي بينك وبين بيني وبينك عمرا. I wish my relationship with you in the best term. It's all beautiful. And even if my relationship with other people is not good terms, they don't like me because I'm Muslim, they don't like me because of this, because of my skin of color of my skin, whatever it may be, I don't care if them don't like me. But if you to like me, that's all I care about. Okay? Because she knows if he likes her, he loves her, he will make good people love her as well. And she said, if you صح منك الود فالكل هين. If I come to know that you love me, everyone else I can take care of. I don't care that much. Why? He said, فَكُلَّ الَّذِي فَوْقَ التُّرَابِ تُرَابُ. He said, every human being, when they have to what? To die, vanish. Therefore, I cannot hold my hope in a person a human not reliable. You love someone so much and they disappear, but you never disappear. She's not saying that, don't make me love my mother, don't let me love my sister. She's not saying that. She's saying, because if you love me, I know you make me love other people, and that you make those people love me, and I become looking to the whole world through the lenses of your love for me and my love to you. That's spiritual ascension. That connecting my first premise, I said earlier, that connecting the physical world with the unseen world. They have different perspective. Therefore, this is what the prayer was a gift. Therefore, the Prophet ﷺ experienced the physical ascension. Allah gave us a gift of a spiritual ascension that you can do every day. You can do in Mi'raj every day. First, you locate yourself physically. Then you ascend, have the ascension of your soul from the space. Why? Because if you experience that vertical relationship and that connection in the vertical relationship sense, when you come back to earth, your physical relationship, your physical space and your horizontal relationship become based on that vertical relationship. It's very interesting that a man, a scholar, he entered a market. And his son said, you know, they trash in your name. They said all kinds of things about you. Did you listen to them? Why didn't you respond to them? He said, son, I did not hear them. He filtered spiritually the noise. The world is full of noise. I cannot imagine a quieter place where the Prophet was than the place being in heaven. Sometimes you just need to listen to ourselves. You know, self-talk, you have a self-talk. Self-talk is very helpful. Do a lot of self-talk. Imam Ali, radiyallahu anhu, he used to do self-talk. When he walk on the street, talk to himself. Yeah, he do self-talk all the time. Self-talk make you reflect, make you think, talk back to yourself. And I tell people, when you do self-talk, you have to be positive because you're listening. You're listening. When you listen to yourself, have self-compassion. Be compassionate to yourself. Self-compassion. You know, think the best of yourself. Don't, like, I'm down, I'm not going to do this. Self-compassion. When you do self-compassion, then you will be able to share the compassion with it vibrate people around you. We call that positive energy. Positive energy. If the Prophet ﷺ goes to heaven and come down, what's the highest position you can get in the world in terms of prestige? The high position, can you imagine? What's the biggest name and title you can have before your name? Anyone has an idea? Any idea?
King. King or queen.
King and queen. King and queen. Okay, that's yeah. What else? Where do you, where people that become very famous in America, where the name being put? Where? Where they being recognized?
Walk of Fame.
Yes, Hall of Fame or Walk of Fame. The Prophet Muhammad talking about Walk of Fame. A man that Allah said about him, Allah Almighty. This is not CNN, Fox News, MSNBC making a statement. Allah says, and made it forever for people in China, they read it, in Russia, they read it, in Africa, they read it, in Asia, they read it, in Australia, they read it, in America, they read it, in the Quran. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Allah said, Allah very surely Allah Himself, not anyone else, sent His salam upon the Prophet. He bestowed His blessing upon the Prophet. And all the angels, malaika. That's why if somebody publishes something against the Prophet, although I get upset, but I said this person doesn't know what he is doing, what she is doing. Like, if it's a sunny day, and you say you don't like the sun and you spit to the sun, what happened? What would happen if somebody spit to the sun?
Spit falls back on you.
Exactly, come back to their face. The sun's so far. Yeah, the Prophet's like that. يا النبي إن أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. Allah calling him like a bright star. It's too far to be reached. You cannot harm him. For it's beyond your reach. This Hall of Fame, I'm going to share with you personally, I believe, no matter how much you and I become important, how many newspapers write about us, how many TV shows we've been on, this is not it. All of this is a facade. It's a mirage. كسراب بقيعة يحسبه الظمآن ماء. Like a water, a mirage in the desert, a thirsty person will think it's water. حتى إذا جاءه لم يجده شيئا. When a person reached that mirage, find nothing. ووجد الله. Then he found God, because that's a mirage. The reality, the only reality is Allah. Everything is not real. Allah is al-Haq. You know the Haq? That's reality. The ultimate reality is Allah Almighty. Everything else is relevant and relative. The only one is infinite is God Almighty. Everything else is limited. Therefore, Allah said that about him. Allah wa malaikatihi yusalluna ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. A man go to heaven, and Allah said that about him. Then what happened to him when he come back to earth? Let me tell you something, and I would like to share that. I'm going to conclude. If you want to have Rajab as a transforming month for you, remember what I'm going to just say to you. Follow me. I'm going to put into points. Number one, pray with intention that you gain humility from the prayer. Because the prayer is an ascension. When you come out of prayer, when you look to human being, look with humility. Don't I. Humility. The Prophet ﷺ went to heaven, come back. What did he do to his wife or to his children? Cannot talk to me in the way he used to talk to me. I have to have a throne. I have to have particular treatment. Guys, I get just the title of being in heaven. He didn't go to the White House. He did not go to the Spocket Congress. He did not. So what? It's all this, not a big deal. He went to heaven in the presence of angels. Even Jibreel couldn't go. He went and talked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I come back on earth. What did he do? Next day is a regular day for him. He found his shoes need to be fixed. He started fixing it. The man went to heaven, come back fixing his shoes? What are you talking about? There's some people, they just see a star, a movie star, and they go crazy. I shook his hand. Oh my God. One person told me that he shook the hand of somebody, said, I'm not going to wash my hand for a day. Wallah, he told me that. He said, like, I feel like I'm not washing my hand. Like, no, I don't believe it. Shake my head. I said, really, you need to wash your hand, because really went to your head. You need to wash your head as well, actually. It's just unbelievable. You got overexcited, don't you? But that human being, he doesn't care about you that much. He maybe forget your name. But Allah doesn't. You know, the Rasulullah went to this highest place, came back to earth. Then they said, one milk. He said, let me milk the sheep. You were just over in heaven, Ya Rasulullah. So what? Heaven, make me understand earth. Because when you go to heaven, when you ascend in prayer, then the whole thing on earth being in perspective. Other people have an illusion. They have veils. They don't see it. But you have got these new lenses. The more that you go, the more you ascend, this ascension to heaven, the more the earth become more clear because you zoomed out. And then become smaller in your eyes. Therefore, the big thing in people's eyes is no longer a big thing for you. It's just something good to have or good to do to help others. It not become the essential thing. It become a means, not an objective. That's why Allah says, يا أيها الإنسان إنك كادح إلى ربك إيش؟ كدحا. You know this ayah? فملاقيه. You strive, and then you see your Lord. You be with Allah, and you see your actions. That's your ultimate objectives. Therefore, all of this is just a temporary party for the biggest party in heaven. Therefore, that's what it is. Therefore, when you think about Rajab, prepare yourself and think about all of these elements of what Rajab means to you. That's what Rajab means to me every year. I reflect on Rajab. I was in the train. You know, I didn't take a nap in the train because I was thinking about Mr. Patricia was telling me that about Rajab. And I thought about it. I thought about this, you know. But I said, I'm going to take a nap. I would wake up from a nap, I'm going to write some notes. What? If you and I think about Rajab every year as number one, I already told you, but I didn't tell you. Just mentioned something to you earlier. The prayer bring what? Humility. Number two, that always after difficulty, with every difficulty there is ease. The Prophet ﷺ was rejected by people on earth, but Allah told him, remember the unseen world. There's something called angels, malaika, it's me, Allah. No matter what people might think of you, just think about what I think of you. This is number two. And this, by the way, gives confidence, great confidence. Spiritual confidence, not false confidence. Okay? Number two. Number three, that we have to think about our journey in the journey of others. Allah brought all the prophets with the Rasulullah. For if you are a female sitting here, think about other females. From the Muslim females and non-Muslim female in America. From Khadija, radiallahu anha wardaha, the mother of the believers, Rasulullah, she has more money than Oprah Winfrey. Honestly, I met Oprah. And I told her that. I told her that Khadija has more money than her. Yeah. Khadija has more money than Oprah Winfrey, but she gave it all. And she died penniless. She really. So what? You're in the presence of the richest people on the earth. Khadija, radiallahu anha, she did that, she paid for you Islam and my Islam. That's the woman that Allah remember in heaven. Khadija, radiallahu anha. That's your model. Every one of you is Khadija. Or young people like Osama ibn Zayd and Mus'ab ibn Umayr and all of the great people. Therefore, you have to think about the prophets and the messengers who went through this struggle. Therefore, you have to think about the community beyond the community here, your spiritual heritage, and the people struggle with you in America. And when it comes to discrimination and things like that, think about Rosa Parks. Okay? Think about Malcolm X. Think about Muhammad Ali. Those are people really, they struggled in this world, but they stood their ground. For I want you to think like that. That's what Rajab means to me. Rajab means to me is hope. Being optimistic. Spiritually connected. Infinite mercy of God Almighty. Infinite power of God Almighty. Rajab for me is to draw near to God Almighty. As he said, if you want to draw near to me, do what I'm asking you to do, obligatory things. If you do more volunteer prayers, I will become your eye that you see with, your hand that you touch with, your foot that you walk with. If you come that much close to me, I come that much close to you. If you come that much close to me, I'll come that much close to you. If you walk to me, I'll run to you. That's what it's about. I'll stop here. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Okay. Talk too long. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. That was perfect. If we have questions, we can open it up.
You don't have questions? Then I have a question for you. Doesn't go one way. Yes.
You were talking about being more, basically being more spiritual and having, looking at the big picture, etc. Looking, not being focused too much on the material things. How do you can also have you can have two extremes basically, being too much in the, in the materialism or being too much in the spirituality and forgetting about your duties in this world. How do you find the balance?
Yes.
between these two?
I agree with you, first of all. There's extremes in views. In Islam, that Quran have said, وَلَا تَنْصَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا ابتغِ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة. Seek what Allah wants you to seek in life to come, but don't forget your portion in this life. Having a nice car does not contradict spirituality. Have a nice house does not contradict spirituality. There's a misunderstanding of that. You can have all the material in the world, but you have to do with it what Allah wants you to do. You cannot earn it from cutting corners and abusing others, child labor, not giving people the wage they deserve, or discriminating against women, for example. Those kind of things. That's all of this, by the way, is not in God Almighty will be pleased with, because you have not fulfilled the rights of others. For you cannot make wealth in the expense of the rights of others and not being fair to others. Nor you can earn the wealth from selling something or doing something that judgmental to human well-being. Be socially conscious. Number two, a person has to share what Allah has given them with others. What I mean by that? Pay your zakah, help the poor and the needy in society. Allah does not ask you to do all your wealth. He wants you to make wealth, but He wants you to fulfill your obligation of it. In their money, there's a right to the poor and the needy. The third, a person should not become stingy, holding back money, not spending on his family or taking care of them because he wants to accommodate it. Stinginess. Nor a person can do tabdhir, which is spending money in illegal and unlawful things. Allah does not please with, called haram. Or, nor should the person overspend in halal. Sometimes we buy things that are not essential. We keep buying them, accumulating so many things. That is become not necessary. Okay? Once in a while I go and give some of my clothes away. because I know I have so much of them. For you, excessiveness in spending also is not acceptable. If a person does that, that person living a balanced life. Right? That's all need to be done. But at the same time, that being said of how to deal with the wealth itself, but in the material world, a person spiritually must believe that there's a difference between relying on the means and relying on the one who provides the means. الأسباب والمسبب. There's some people rely on their money. Therefore, they always take it for granted. The money is there and so on. They rely on their power or the prestige and so forth. All of this is not reliable. You cannot even rely on your health. Because anything goes wrong. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make them go wrong to remind you that only Him can be reliable. All of the things are not reliable. Even sometimes a person may be given a medicine. And the same medicine we give to somebody have the same sickness. Medicine works on one person, doesn't work on the other person. They remind even the doctor and the person using the medicine, not always that what you think is reliable is reliable. Okay? And therefore, a person have to always to create that balance, strike a balance between his spiritual life and material life. I would argue, though, if a person live a righteous spiritual life, his material life, it will make more sense to him. Because that person will not abuse his power, nor misuse his wealth. That person will have a right perspective how to deal with the material world. Other questions? Yes.
And my question is like more general, based on your talk. What you were saying about space and spirituality, I was thinking about it because, inshallah, I'm about to graduate, and I'm worried about it in that way because alhamdulillah, at home I had like my community, my family. Now here at Penn, I have the MSA. I feel I have a community that grounds me in this space, and inshallah, when I leave, that won't be there anymore as an alum. And so it's a very general question, but what advice do you have? Like in those spaces I use my communities to help anchor me and ground me for when I'm alone too, but in the absence of that, I'm just worried.
You know, here was the benefit of social media in the positive sense and virtual society. Sometimes, virtual society have its downsides and, the positive and the negative. I do believe that if you're going to be going to a community where there's no masjid or?
No, there will be inshallah, but I be going to a graduate school that like doesn't have many Muslims,
yes.
Things like this.
Yeah, I'll advise people always that even if you find the smallest community, 3, 4 people, 5 people, connect with that community. That's number one. Number two, that if there's classes that come into your neighborhood, in that university or the class online, I still try to keep that energy going by connecting with the right people, spending miles of time to re-energize yourself and to remind yourself, reorient yourself that of the importance of connecting with the Muslim community. And also you can compensate that by going on those short trips or those short courses, go to Al-Alim or they have Bayna, Maghrib, and all of the classes that you may have. They provide kind of grounding and connections and so forth to you in your local community and the people around you and those kind of things. Or Rihla, there's a Nawawi trip. You can go into that. Those are the things that can energize you. I don't ever advise a person to say, I'm going to do it my own. You have to have that connection. Okay? Oh, Mubin. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Mubin is a member of my community, and he is here in Pennsylvania. Benefit from him. MashaAllah, he's a terrific writer. and intellectual Muslims and student of Islam. Well, it's good to have him around here. Inshallah. Any other questions? Okay. Rajab, thank you so much. I said I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to give you I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to ask you.